Good morning, and welcome to the penultimate Friday of Lent. Today we can look at the fifth and final instance of the Passion Chorale in Bach's St. Matthew Passion, or the Passion through the eyes of the Gospel of Matthew. And some of you have asked me, does the whole sort of very thick book is it all sort of passion chorales and sort of things like that? And the answer is no, actually. We're just sort of looking at a case study of one particular Lutheran chorale that that Bach sort of inserts at the right moment in the story. And you can sort of think of this as sort of a pausing of the sort of musical time, if you will, within the narrative. Sort of basically, Bach kind of has the chorales or Lutheran hymn, basically the Lutheran hymnody. And at a certain point, like the Passion Chorale with one text is fitting, so Bach takes that and inserts that in. And there's a vast amount of music, gorgeous music, some of the most beautiful music ever written in other parts of this. This Sunday, Greg Harris will be singing one of my favorite arias for bass as the postlude to take us into Holy Week. So please do be sure to tune in for that. Greg sings that very beautifully, and it'll be really nice. And in addition to that, there's just so many other pieces. So if you are interested in exploring more of the St. Matthew Passion, please do reach out. I'm happy to share recordings or sort of various pieces that I really enjoy from the piece. So the final instance of the Passion Chorale comes at probably the most pivotal moment of the piece. The evangelist just before that announces the death of Jesus. So we have just before that we have one of them someone running and bringing the sponge with vinegar and giving it to Jesus. We have the crowd mocking him that he's calling for Elijah, and then the evangelist says, "And again Jesus cried aloud and was gone." And then we have a cadence, and then the chorale. "When comes my hour of parting, do not thou part from me. As death's dread hour approaches, beside me thou wilt be. And when in awful anguish my time of death is nigh, thy cross will then uphold me, that steadfast I may die." You've heard it, just a couple of reflections. In some ways, this sort of feels the most hopeful of the 5 settings that we've heard. At the same time, there are some sort of hallmarks. In Bach's era, descending chromatically is known as passus Kyriosculus, and it's sort of a figure that Baroque audiences in the time would recognize as a rhetorical figure of suffering. And in the middle, we have the bass line descending in this manner. So it's almost as if Jesus just having died, Bach is sort of thinking about, our own death and things we contemplate. But this one ends in a major key. So we start in A minor, and I think it's just an absolutely beautiful reminder of sort of the hope, the Christian hope surrounding death, which is a very scary thing, but the hope we have through the Passion, and that's, I believe, Bach's way of telling us.